Hey there, Zero fans! Today I'm going to be teaching you how to fly and win with the A6M5 Hei. Not only do I want to teach you how to fly the Zero, but I want to show you how to think like the Zero. Now let's get started. So first, I see this guy coming, and so I decide to just drop down on him, your classical boom and zoom. So he sees me coming and he turns, and so I decide to just make a loop so that I can drop right back down on his 6. So I fire off a few shots here just to see if I can get him to turn, which he does, but then he turns right into an SSPA. So then I decide to break off and get rid of my bomb. I want to shed as much weight as possible so that I can maneuver better. So as at this point, I'm deciding to just kind of put some distance between myself and the battlefield, mainly so that I can survey it. So I know there's one plane so far, and I think I see another one over there. So there's two, and then we also have a SSPA that's at the spawn.
Thank you.
Alright, let's go ahead and turn back. So instead of heading straight to the battlefield, I'm gonna kind of hover around on the outside of it just to see if I can spot an opportunity. So I know one plane is right there, and so now I gotta find the other one to see where he's at. So at this point, I hear someone coming, but I don't see where they're at. So I decided to just kind of move around because I just don't want to be a perfectly still target, especially if someone is targeting me. And so as of this point, I still don't see him. I'm kind of looking around for him. And so there he goes right there.
Just keep it up, and victory will be ours.
Alright, scratch one. Alright, so I see some tracers coming at me, and so I make a turn and look behind me to see who it is. And so it looks like it's this plane that has half a wing. So this should be an easy kill right here. Alright, scratch 2. So here's where the really challenging part came. So this guy right here has way more speed than I did. And, he pretty much did everything right. I kind of just got lucky at the end. But right here I fire off a few shots just to see if he'll turn. But he doesn't, so he keeps going, which is really good on his part.
Another zone captured. We have the advantage.
Alright, so I'm getting too close to his base, so I decided to turn back. Now keep in mind that we still have someone who is in that general direction. So I'm going to go ahead and check back to see whether he's turned around and come back after me, or whether he's landed. But it looks like he's coming right back after me. So as at this point, I got to make a decision. Like, am I going to climb so that I can give myself some room to maneuver, or should I dive and pick up some speed? And as at this point, I was kind of contemplating it, but I decided to dive instead.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
So I figured that around 250 miles per hour is where the Zero maneuvers its best. And so that's the speed that I wanted to be at. So he does a head-on, and he gets a few shots off of me, which isn't bad. Alright, so it looks like he's coming back around for another head-on, but now I'm slow. So he actually gets pretty good right here. So I get really, really lucky right here. It's almost like a few stray rounds just end up getting a pilot snipe on that. So that was super lucky. If he would have came back around one more time, he would have got me for sure. Alright, so here's the second clip.
Provide air cover for our base.
Alright, so I'm scanning down below, and I notice that A is being taken, so I'm zooming in just to see if I can see the tank that's down there. For some reason in this game I thought I spawned it with a bomb, but I guess I didn't. So let's go ahead and just select our first air target.
We don't have the advantage anymore.
Alright, so I see one coming right here, and nothing behind him, so I'm gonna go ahead and go for him. So once again I fire off a few shots to see if he'll pull off his attack, but he keeps going. Critical there.
If we don't do something
And so there's a 109 that comes after me, but he ends up crashing. You guys see it right there. Yep, movement zoom fail right there.
Attack the B
Alright, so
point.
now that I got my first kill, I'm gonna look around to see what else is there. So I see this guy right here, and then there's another guy behind him. But they're pretty far apart, so I decided that it's pretty safe to engage this guy for now. Alright, as he pulls up, he becomes an easy target. Alright, scratch 2. Now let's scan for the other targets. I know that there was one behind me, so let's see what we can find. So I noticed that there's one that's diving and one that's a little bit higher, and so I decided not to go for this guy, and I decided to go for the second guy. So that is a 190, but he's going a little too fast. I'll switch off of him. And so I see this guy over here, and I decided to go for him instead. But I'm still making a mental note that there's a 190 down in that direction. And then I see this waiver down here, or one of my teammates going after that guy. And so this 190 has come back around. And at this point, I don't know if he's actually going for me, or if he even sees me. But it doesn't look like he even notices that I'm here. Now he sees me.
Air cover for our base.
There's some movers, and he keeps going, and I keep going as well. So this is what I should have did on my last game, when I was going up against that Hellcat. But I guess I made a better decision this game. Alright, so since those two guys are already going for him, I'm gonna go ahead and just let him go and select a new target. Alright, so I see this guy, so let's go after him.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Once again, they go up, they become an easy target. Alright, so looking around is going to be super important. Like, you want to make a mental note of where everything is at. I know those two guys over there are still going after that 190, but they're a little far away, so, and there's two of them on him, so I figured I'd let him go and not even try to pursue him. So I see this guy coming up here, and I straighten out a little bit just to gain some speed. I'm actually trying to bait him, so I want him to come after me instead. And which it works. He's coming after me. So he tries to get on my 6. They're gonna do kind of like a little side turn right there, and now I'm on his. Alright, another one down. Now I select my next target. He's coming straight at me. Turn.
Attention to the map.
And the cool thing about this thing is that since it still turns pretty well, you know that you're always going to get the inside loop on
The
them.
enemy controls most of the strategic zones.
But I am running low on ammo, so I'm trying to conserve ammo at the same time. And with these cannons, they're pretty slow firing, so even if you only have a little bit of rounds, you can actually still get pretty far with them, as long as your aim is good. Alright, and I think that pretty much ends this clip, so we'll go ahead and move on to the other clip. Alright, so here's the next clip. And so once again, it's important to survey your battlefield and make mental notes of where things are. So I see this guy up here, and I was kind of hoping I can bait him, but he ended up not going for me, and instead he went for the bomber. So I decided to just turn around. Maybe I can provide some kind of assistance, but they're a little too high and a little too far. So I knew I wasn't really going to get there in time. I gotta check my 6 here, just make sure no one's coming after me. And it's a good thing that I did, because there is one guy right there. Keep track of that guy over there too. That guy looks like he's in a dive instead. So I'm gonna go ahead and go for him. Up instead of turning with him. Drops him right back down on him. These MGs are pretty cool. I've been using it a lot without even using my cannons. He's getting slow. He should be going down anytime soon. And there he goes. Alright, so I'm looking around and I see this guy over here, so decided to go for him.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
Alright, so even though this thing is slow, it still turns pretty well. So we're going to be doing some long distance shooting here. Hopefully we'll be able to get him. Okay, he's on fire. We'll go ahead and let him go. Alright, scratch another one. So I see a guy up there, and I also see a guy up ahead. So this ended up being a Spitfire, and so I fired off a few shots just to get him to break off his attack, and which he does. And so I actually got a little nervous on this part because the Spitfire is supposed to turn a lot better than me.
Another zone captured. We
But
have the advantage.
then again, I still get him. Check 6.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
So I see another guy down here returning to base. And I don't know how I did this, but I got super lucky right here too. Pilot snipe, just like that. So at this point I decide that I'm kind of low on ammo, well at least on MG ammo, so I'm just going to head back to base as I don't see any more air targets up there.
Just a little more effort, and victory will surely be ours. Defend the A point. Roger that!
Alright, so I ended up spotting another plane that just spawned, so I decided to just go back around. I still have a decent amount of cannon ammo.
We're controlling most of the zones.
Alright, let's go for it. Just down the cannons. Boom! Scratch another one. Alright, here we go with the last clip. So, right after spawning, I can see that there are
Attention to the map.
a couple of planes up ahead already. I can spot at least 2 planes. And so when there's more than 2, I generally just drop my bomb and get ready just to dogfight. At this point, I think air targets are going to take priority over ground targets. And so we'll have to drop that bomb and go ahead and just hit up the air targets first. So right now I'm just gaining a little bit of altitude just so that I can pick my target, and once I figure out which one I want to go for, I'll go ahead and just drop down on them. So I know one was coming down, and I think one was already down there somewhere. So I ended up going for this guy just because he was the closest one to me.
Attention to the map.
Alright, there's one down. Where's the other guy? This guy actually took quite a few hits from my 13.2 millimeter machine guns. It took so much to take him down.
Attention to the map.
Alright, there he goes. Now let's select our next target. So once again, prioritize air targets. And looks like we have another one. So this one's a bomber, and so I decided to go a little bit lower and engage it from the bottom.
Forces have captured a zone.
There's always less guns on the bottom.
Attention to the map.
So there's a crit right there. And so I get attacked by SSPAs right here, so I end up having to go lower.
Enemy forces have captured a zone.
So at this point I was deciding to go back to base. Then I think another one spawned. So I end up climbing once again just so that I can survey the battlefield and I can keep track of the plane that just spawned. Alright, let's turn around. Keep an eye on him.
Most of the zones are under control. Just keep it up, and victory will be ours.
Looks like he's getting closer. Let's see if he goes for me. Try to swing his way, see if he'll go for me instead. Alright, so he ends up not going for me. He goes for the other guy. Which is fine, because then it'll just allow me to drop right behind him. Alright, another one down. And I kept my teammate alive. So that was a win-win. Alright, so I see another one coming. Another one just spawned, so I'm going to head in that direction.
Attack the A point.
Try to bait him again, but he doesn't really go for me, which is fine. I'll just drop right behind him. Alright, he's on fire. We'll go ahead and leave him. And there he goes. Alright, so we have another one that just spawned. And it looks like it might be a bomber.
A little more effort, and victory will be ours.
Attention to the map.
So I still got a decent amount of cannon ammo.
Another zone
Hopefully I'll be
captured,
able
we
to
have
take
the
him down.
advantage.
So something really important happens right here, and I don't know if you guys want to try it, but it usually works for me. But I also have SSPAs going for me at the same time while I'm trying to dive down on this bomber. So I get hit with the SSPA and I catch fire, and so the first thing I do is I chop my throttle all the way down to 0. And generally this helps the flame go out. So I'm not sure if you guys want to try it, but I do it most of the time. And it works out pretty good for me. So I go for this guy, but I ended up breaking off. I give him a crit, and I'm not going to engage him anymore just because I'm already severely wounded. Alright, and that's it. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more videos, leave a comment, and tell me what you think. And remember that this is the channel where Zero pilots come together to learn how to dominate the skies in War Thunder. See you next time.